Hi everyone. So typical Tuesday, surfing the interwebs, and I came across an article that was that kind of interested me. And the article was jobs best suited for people who battle social anxiety disorder. Now I clicked on it, I read the article, it made sense. So I decided I'm going to do a video explaining the 10 jobs that are best suited for people who battle social anxiety disorder. Without any further ado, let's get started. As we know, finding a meaningful and enjoyable job when you're suffering from social anxiety disorder can be very challenging as a whole. Generally speaking, with that being said, your job choices vary depending on the prognosis of your diagnosis and also how far along you are in your treatment. Basically, what that means is if you've managed to overcome your social anxiety and you've learned your coping methods, you've practiced it, you've mastered it, and you know your symptoms of social anxiety, then you're better equipped for socially demanding jobs. However, if you're just starting off with your treatment and you've just been diagnosed and you're still learning what social anxiety is and how it affects you, then this can be a little bit tricky too. Jobs that involve flexibility and control over the level of social interaction can make it easier to cope with your anxiety if it returns. Now, this doesn't mean that you can choose jobs that don't involve social interactions. Rather, having a job that's flexible with varying levels of social interaction tends to be better for you if you're suffering in general. With that being said, let's go through the list of jobs best suited for those of us who suffer from social anxiety disorder. The first one, writing. Writing is a dream for a lot of us. Unfortunately, it can be a very hard profession to establish yourself in, and it can take a while before you start earning a living off of it. However, once you become established, it's possible you can earn a very decent income as a freelance writer. There's different things you can do, vlogging, blogging, maybe a column in a newspaper, short story contests. Whatever your goal is for a writing career, it's best to find a job that can help you establish that writing career. Let's say, for example, you want to be a technical writer, you want to be a copywriter. Go into jobs that have entry levels or even internships. Maybe even you can go as low as volunteering if you just want to get the ground basis and build up your confidence, and you can use that confidence to move on to taking freelance work in those fields. And maybe if you get good enough, you become a published author in those fields, like a published copywriter, published novelist, published columnist. The list goes on. Writing is a very diverse field. But it's important to remember that socially anxious writers enjoy working alone. However, you should also try to broaden your horizons and network with other writers, because it'll help with professional connections when you need a job, maybe in a newspaper company or a news station and you already know someone who works there. Through a connection, this can give you a chance to polish your social skills and also continue to expose yourself to the situations that cause your anxiety to go all loop-de-loop. If you find you're doing well, you might even want to volunteer to lead a presentation or help out other people who are in the same boat as you. This one kind of relates to the first one. It's becoming an artist. An artist is another job that might be appealing if you live with social anxiety. However, earning a living as an artist can be a very difficult process, and it takes a lot of commitment, a lot of motivation, a lot of sweat, blood, tears. As an artist, you have to go through a lot of hoops to finally make an income doing what you love. With that being said, it's also good to try and establish a part-time job on the side while you're trying to build up your art career, because you don't want to end up homeless trying to sell your art. You don't want to be like how that one episode of SpongeBob was, where Squidward was on the street trying to sell his art. No one wanted to buy his art, he ended up eating it. That's probably a bad reference, but you get the gist. If you have a passion for this kind of work, think about related jobs. Jobs that give you the same creative ability to express yourself, and jobs that can also give you alone time. Graphic designing is one of those jobs you can do, and it's a pretty big field. There's always people looking for graphic designers, designing websites, designing logos, channel art for content creators. The list goes on. And it's important to remember that as a graphic designer, you can work alone. You don't have to work on a team. And pretty much you can freelance as a graphic designer and still make a decent amount of income. But I suggest working on a portfolio before you become a freelancer. That's always the best thing to do. As an artist with social anxiety, you may enjoy spending your time alone. But you need to remember that you have to challenge yourself by attending art shows or presenting your art at exhibits, communicating with clients, and networking yourself with other artists, because networking is key, especially in art. Just like writing, networking is key to continuously growing in the field and also to challenge your anxiety in the field when it comes to art. This one can be a little bittersweet for some people, but the third one is stay-at-home parent. Stay-at-home parents, that job can also be bittersweet. It's also ranked on the 10 worst jobs to do if you have social anxiety. That's not an accident either. It can be bittersweet for some people. Some people might like it, some people might not like it. It depends. Stay-at-home parents also made the top 10 worst jobs if you suffer from social anxiety. That's not an accident. As a stay-at-home parent, there's a lot of social demands on you as a parent, but there's also a lot of flexibility, which can be helpful if you live with severe social anxiety. As a parent, you control your own schedule, you balance your time, and set certain schedules for different groups, activities, mom dates, maybe baby dates. Your quiet time with yourself, and then your quiet time with just spending time alone with your children. However, don't allow yourself to become isolated or deny your children opportunities because of your social anxiety. Accept invitations to play dates with other parents, volunteer on the parent-teacher committees, go to your child's school to keep connected with teachers, do a lot of things with your child. Don't let your social anxiety defeat you. Note: if you suffer from attention deficit disorder, ADD, in addition to social anxiety disorder, these go hand in hand with parenting at most times. Running your household requires good organization skills, something that might not challenge your social anxiety, but it'll be taxing for those of you who have attention issues. For all my fellow pet lovers, the next one is dog training. Honestly, this is something I would consider doing, but every time I apply for dog training, no one ever gets back to me. It can be kind of annoying too. Now, a dog trainer is one example of a job working with animals that might be appealing to you if you live with social anxiety disorder or even autism. This can be a job you can do if you're autistic and you're looking for a job, because working with animals helps you cope with your autism as a whole. And these kind of jobs can include vet tech, kennel operator, zookeeper, rescue worker. Also working in a shelter can be under rescue worker. If you enjoy working with animals, these can be very rewarding positions that require some social interaction, but also gives you your space to work quietly and independently. Keep challenging your social anxiety in these passions by interacting with clients and other animal care professionals. Low-key, I think a lot of vet techs suffer from social anxiety, because when I go take my dog and my cat to the vet all the time, I notice, because as someone who suffers, you can tell when there's someone just like you just around the corner in most cases. Or that could be just me, but I have a weird sixth sense of picking up people who suffer from depression or anxiety just like me. Not sure. I gotta look into that. The next one is accounting. If you like number crunching, you like the idea of doing taxes or dealing with bookkeeping, financial details for businesses, individuals. If you love math and you love working with numbers, being an accountant can give you the opportunity to work independently. And it's a pretty diverse field, accounting, but you have to remember too that there's a lot of accountants out there and there's a lot of competition, so you can't get discouraged at the same time. Now, whether you work for a company or as a private accountant, there will be some level of interaction required with others. Focus on your ability and be confident with your work, and your comfort level with this aspect of the job will increase. It takes time, especially in accounting. Becoming an accountant can be a good way to challenge some of your social fears in a gradual way. You can build yourself up. Meeting with clients can be opportunities to work on your social skills, and attending networking events will help you challenge your social fears. So remember, pretty much every point in this is going to tell you to attend networking events in the fields that you want to try out. Interaction is key. Time to branch off of writing, art, and math to go into something more environmentally friendly, and that's landscaping. Now, landscaping is a pretty big one on its own too. You can work for landscaping companies, you can work for golf courses, you can be a private entrepreneur of your own company. Landscaping gives you the freedom to spend your day alone and outdoors. If you love nature and nature calms you down, this is probably one of your more ideal jobs to do. These jobs are particularly good if you're not happy working in an office environment. If you decide to open your own landscaping company, you'll need to become adept at communicating with others. That is very key to getting business, getting employees, getting financing, all sorts of things. In this way, landscaping can afford you with the opportunity to challenge your fears while having the security of downtime on the job. Challenge your social fears in these positions by interacting with customers, other landscaping professionals, possibly your own employees, and again, also attend shows related to what you do, so trade shows and social events, and these will help you practice your skills of being more social. This one is pretty straightforward too, entrepreneurship. As an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, so you work for yourself, you set your own schedule, your own time, you're responsible for your own success. The advantage of being an entrepreneur with social anxiety is that you have complete control over what needs to get done and what you do. It's also easy to see how many other professionals on this list can be combined with entrepreneurship. Although you'll interact with customers or deal with suppliers as a business owner, you won't have a supervisor watching over you or coworkers to work alongside. It's pretty much you on your own. As an entrepreneur, you can hire people to do jobs that you don't enjoy, which can be a benefit too, depending on the kind of business you open. Just be sure that you don't hire out all of your social obligations. Challenge yourself to face social and performance situations that you find anxiety-provoking by starting small and working your way up to different tasks. Firefighting. While being a police officer is on the list of worst jobs for people with social anxiety disorder, being a firefighter, on the other hand, makes the top 10 best. Although as a firefighter you'll have interaction with the public and work alongside coworkers, you'll also work with objects and have set expectations for your job. Firefighters have schedules that give them several days off in a row, which can be a chance to recuperate from the demands of work if you live with social anxiety. Challenge your social skills in this position by rising through the ranks to jobs that require more social interaction. Volunteer for career day events at your child's school. Challenge yourself to speaking in social events, fire safety events, things like that. This is one job where you can actually work a lot on building up your social interaction and helping to combat your social anxiety. Okay guys, we're almost to the end of our list. This one is computer programming. To work as a computer programmer, you have to be very detail-oriented, enjoy problem solving, and be able to focus for long periods of time. While there will be some degree of social interaction required as a programmer, employees in these positions are generally valued for their analytical skills rather than their communication skills. If you like computers and don't mind sitting for long periods of time, this can be a good job for you. You get to work independently, you also get to work on a team sometimes too. Be sure to challenge your social skills by talking with coworkers and taking on projects that require an increasingly amount of interaction. Our final one is something I actually considered doing myself, and that's counseling. Counseling or therapy might not be the first job you think of if you suffer from social anxiety. However, when in a position to help others overcome social anxiety, this can be an ideal job. You understand what your clients are experiencing, you're a good listener, and you most likely have a communication style that others who suffer from social anxiety wouldn't find threatening. If you've received treatment and overcame your social anxiety, you are in a perfect position to help others do the same. This position will give you a unique insight into your own struggles at the same time. Disclaimer: that's also why I do YouTube videos, so I can help people who suffer just like me, give my insights, give advice, and just spread the word about the awareness and the stigma that we go through suffering from these kind of mental health conditions. What do all these jobs have in common? What they have in common is that they resemble fear in one way or another, and this is also something they use in behavioral therapy for social anxiety. Individuals who do these jobs can start small by facing social interactions that they fear the least and gradually move forward towards more challenging social situations. Keep that in mind. You always have to start from the bottom and work your way up. And that goes from jobs, that goes from your recovery methods, it goes to learning how to cope. It takes time, nothing happens overnight. With that being said, I thank everyone for tuning into this video, and I'll see you in the next one.